Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for today's session, The Future of HR, Compliance Analytics and Organizational Resilience. So we have Kalam Khan, who has joined us on Zoom, Aniket Nankar, and Atish Yadav. Welcome, everyone, to the session. Let me go to LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, we have Rajesh Bidkar, Amit Sarkar, Sagar Chandni. I welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Yeah, and I also see an admin. So Mr. Admin, could you please rename yourself so that I can welcome you as well? Okay, no worries. So good evening, everybody. Today's topic is very interesting. It's about the future of HR. It's an honor for me to welcome you all on this thought-provoking panel discussion on the topic of future of HR, compliance, analytics, and organizational resilience. As we step into the era which is shaped by rapid technological advancements, the workplace is evolving and the dynamics is changing really fast. HR is no longer a support function, but it's a strategic powerhouse. Did you know that according to Gartner, 89% of HR leaders believe that the next 3 years are going to be most challenging in terms of their career? Similarly, McKinsey reports that the companies who are leveraging advanced HR analytics are 30% more likely to outperform their competitors. So, the conversation today isn't just about the trends, it's about equipping the organizations to thrive amid the uncertainty. Together with our distinguished speakers, we'll uncover insights, strategies, and solutions that redefine the role of HR in shaping resilient and data driven organizations. So, let's dive into this exciting future together. Please allow me to introduce our luminary in the field of HR compliance and labor laws, a professional whose contributions have shaped the very foundation of organizational resilience in India, Mr. Hemant Deshpande. Mr. Deshpande is the visionary behind Brahma Consultancy, where he serves as a trusted consultant for IT and ITES companies. He specializes in benefits and compliance under complex frameworks like SEZ Act, PF, and ESI. His expertise and dedication to excellence have earned him the prestigious title of Top Labor Law Consultant of India for 2 consecutive years, 2019 and 2020. Truly a remarkable testament to his unparalleled knowledge and impact. As the president of the Labor Laws and Management Consultant Association, Pune, Mr. Deshpande has been a guiding force in navigating the intricacies of labor law compliance. His influence extends beyond consulting, as he has also penned insightful articles for renowned publications such as Sampada, MCCI, HR Mitra, and Insight Success. Adding to his legacy, Mr. Deshpande is the author of indispensable Handbook of 21 Major Laws for Businessmen and A to Z IT Guide of Benefits and Compliance for IT and ITS companies in India. These works reflect his commitment to empowering the organizations with actionable knowledge. Today, we are so privileged to have him share his wisdom on the future of HR, compliance, and resilience. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Hemant Deshpande. Sir, would you like to say a few words?
Mama, Mama.
Hello, Hemant sir. Let me unmute you. Are you able to unmute yourself? Hemant sir, you are not audible. Would you like to check your audio, please? Okay, okay, let him fix his audio. Okay, by that time, let me introduce our second speaker. So it's an honor to introduce an industrious leader who has dedicated over 20 years to shaping the future of human resources with unmatched expertise, foresight, and innovation. Mr. Prashant Naikavde, a distinguished alumni of Symbiosis Institute of Management. Mr. Naikavde's journey is a testament to excellence. Armed with advanced credentials in HR analytics, ISO, TS auditing, and certifications in VDA and ISO standards, he brings a unique blend of strategic thinking and technical acumen to the table. His brilliance shines in HRMS design and implementation, where he has architected comprehensive systems, streamlining processes from joining to separation, crafting robust structures for compensation, compliance, and competency mapping, ensuring the seamless integration of HR functions. But Mr. Prashant's impact goes beyond the systems. As a visionary strategic advisor, he has redefined the organizational development, championing cost effective workforce strategies and designing transformative programs like Mentor Mentee Initiative, Buddy, and Sparks program to empower the employees and to boost productivity. A thought leader in talent review and succession planning, Mr. Prashant has masterfully identified the growth opportunities and crafted action plans that have steered businesses towards long term success. Today, as we explore the future of HR, Mr. Prashant's depth of knowledge, combined with his unwavering commitment to excellence, promises to inspire and educate us. Please join me in welcoming a true luminary of the HR world, Mr. Prashant Naikavde.
Good evening, all, and we'll welcome everybody to be on this call, and let's explore the whatever knowledge and opportunities we have today.
Amazing. Thanks for joining, sir, Prashant sir, as well as Hemant sir. I see we have Manasi Dalvi, Mangesh Sharma, and Mayuresh Ravedkar. So, good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for today's session. So, first, I would like to ask Mr. Prashant about his journey so far and what really inspired him to start his company, 70 Degree Solutions.
Yeah, it is very interesting journey to start a 70 degree in a such a go that I have seen most of the MSME and SME segment companies whose manpower strength is starting from 3 to 4 employees to 200 to 500 employees. They are really not able to afford a trained HR services, and we identified this as a gap into the industry to create an MNC space into MSME zone. So this is how the thought process has been driven, and the 70 degree has been started. Now, most of the people ask me why 70 degree. We usually say we only understand the HR of the entire business part. So we say we understand 70, rest remaining out of 360, you guys can take care of it. So
Amazing.
this is
I love this, title, very creative, 70 Degree.
right. So in 70 degree, we usually outsource the complete HR department, and we are basically working in 4 verticals. So outsourcing the HR department, automating the transactional HR activities through the cloud, and we give the transactional solutions. We can transact almost more than 95% HR activities under the cloud. That saves a lot of time to the organizations, energy to the organization, and the core HR people can focus on the development part rather than getting engaged into day-to-day firefighting things into the transaction level activities. Third vertical is about we help organizations to implement apprenticeship schemes designed by the state government and the central government. This is another vertical we have. And we also have a fourth vertical as a staffing solutions. So we have a team of almost 200 people who are being deployed at multiple locations, multiple clients, and they are giving the services not only with the HR but also with the production, engineering, design, and so on and so forth.
That's great to know, Prashant sir. Thank you so much. I would like to go back to Hemant sir. And Hemant sir, could you please could you please share about your journey and how did you think of starting your company, Brahma Consultancy? Sir, you are not audible. Could you please check your audio? Oh, it's not.
Maybe you can remove your headphone and probably you can
Yeah,
start
yes,
speaking
yes.
directly. This could help you out.
Sir, are you using headphones? You are not using headphone. Okay, okay, I'll help you out. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so let me go back to Prashant sir. So Prashant sir, could you please share your thoughts on how analytics is shaping the future of HR?
The analytics plays a major important role into the day-to-day any company's activities and affairs and the task alignment and management. The basic benefit what we receive from doing an HR analytics is about the reducing the risk on the legal penalties and the reputational damage of the organization. So analytics of the data of the organization gives a lot of insights. It enhances the decision making by integrating the regulatory insights into the analysis. So one can, build a trust with employees and the external stakeholders by with the outcome through the analytics, which is based on the data preparation or the future predictive analysis on the certain parameters as well. It also improves the operational efficiency by automating compliance related to the task. So compliance does not only mean that which is related to the Provident Fund and the ESA and all legal aspects. It also comes with the different dimensions of your day-to-day activities, behavioral activities of the employees and the organizational culture as well. Now coming to the analytics part, analytics helps to the organizations to establish a strong governance framework. What is mean by governance framework? It usually cater all the data collection, the data storage, analysis, and sharing the compliance with regulations like your local laws, state laws, and the central laws as well. It also assign the data to a stewardship role to oversee the compliance and the accountability. So this helps organizations to create a strong governance framework. It also helps to implement data privacy and security measures, such as the data encryption, uh, anonymization, or the access control for the data with the limited or the selective access of the data to the respective stakeholders or the activity owners as well. The the analytics also helps in conducting regular audits within the organization, which is helping them to identify gaps and the risk. The alignment of all those activities related to the goals and the compliance need of the organization. So while designing the analytics, the major focus is basically on the creating multiple dashboards. It might be related to the uh, onboarding. It might be related to the transactional activities. It might be related to the skill assessment. It might be related to the overall financial aspects, the experiences, the entire thing will be summarized into the dashboards, and it will help to do a proper analytics and the comparison of the data available with us. It also gives a predictive analysis for the compliance approved tools and the platforms. So we can have the built-in compliance features within the system, which will give a trail of the entire data and the automated reporting also. The analytics also help us to ensure that third-party vendors are complying with the required rules and regulations, which may impact positive or negative to our organization. So the best part of doing the analytics is, it will educate and train the stakeholders. What we observe that more than 80% entrepreneurs are the technocrats, like they are the technical guys. They hardly understand, or they hardly get in time to get involved into the other allied and supporting activities. So the analytics helps all the stakeholders to get trained and get educated about the data insights, the reporting, and the different matrices which are helping to upgrade the top line. So we can leverage the predictive analysis for the compliance risk mitigation and to promote the cultural ethics and the compliance within the organization itself. So this is how the analytics plays a major important role to any organization.
Amazing. I think your answer, I think you are a true, I would say, strategic visionary, because, your answer covered, almost all the aspects of, HR analytics. So thank you so much, Prashant sir, for sharing your perspective on future of HR. I would like to go back to Hemant sir. Hello, Hemant sir. Can you?
Yeah, hi. Are you able?
Yes, yes. Now it's loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So Hemant sir, could you please share about your journey and how you thought of starting your company, Brahma Consultancy?
Yeah, yes, Pradnya and everybody, once again, thank you all for attending this. The question regarding the starting of the journey, actually, it started in 2008, 17 years back, 16 years back. Earlier, I used to also work into different industries for almost more than 16 plus years. And I've been consulting various industries for last 16 plus years. So almost more than 150 companies I had been advising them. And it started in 2008 precisely. My boss, where I used to report, an IT company, he felt that I've got good amount of knowledge, and he himself suggested, why don't you start your own company? Generally, it doesn't happen. So he himself suggested, and my family also backed up my decision. And fortunately, I could get initially only almost 3 companies as my clients, where I became a consultant for specifically IT companies initially. Then later on, I had included the next vertical, that is regarding labor laws, compliances. And third vertical, then later on also started training for the corporates as well as management institutes. So almost last 16 plus years, I have been doing this activity. A few of my esteemed clients are Tata Communications, Persistent, Poonawalla Finance, Bajaj Finance, etc. So name a few. So most of the people are aware of these names. That's why I'm iterating these names.
Thank you so much, Hemant sir. It's interesting. I think it's great that you were so fortunate to have a boss, who could, really understand your potential and to encourage you to go further and start your own business. So I think you're very lucky, and I'm so happy to see that you are being that same guiding light for others. So it's like, you're paying it forward. So it's really inspiring. Sir, I would like to understand from your perspective, how do you think the compliance is going to play a role in the future of HR? Because it keeps on evolving, right? So it's like, for companies, it's like, chasing a moving target. So what do you think? What strategy should companies adopt?
The act, basically, let us understand what the compliance is. The
Mm-hmm.
compliance, especially the word compliance, stands for the act of obeying various laws and rules framed by the government of India or the respective government of that particular uh, nation. Now, when we talk about the compliance for IT ITS companies, there are different compliance for. There are certain compliances which are common for almost all the companies, but some compliances differ. Let's say we talk about food industry, we talk about IT industry. There are little bit different compliances are to be carried out by these industries. And in respect to your question regarding futuristic approach for the HR, as far as compliance is concerned, it is yes. Obviously, there are lot many compliances are there, and HR has to be prepared to handle these compliances. Why basically is this? Is basically due to the change into the scenario. If we talk about the earlier era, that is before pandemic and after pandemic, if we compare, before pandemic, most of the compliances were used to be done through physical form, submission of forms to the particular department, and it used to be resolved after a span of 1 month or 2 months or something like that. Now, most of the cases, like especially particular departments like, for example, PF and other departments, this particular scenario changed. They have implemented new systems. They have brought in new systems in tune with the law of the nation. So this has changed the scenario. So now the persons who's handling these compliances has to be agile, especially let's say HR, admin, whoever is handling this particular thing has to be agile. That is first thing. Second, he has to have a thorough knowledge of the particular task he is performing, especially related to compliances. Because compliances, if is not done correctly, they are going to burn you. To be very frank with you, there are deadlines given by the government of India to comply particular task on time. If it is not done, then penalty, demurrage, damages can take place. And if those are not handled correctly, then it can go to the higher level also, like seizing of bank accounts, or even it goes to the criminal offense stage also. So here the agility is important. Here the time boundness is important, and precision as far as compliance is concerned is very much important. So people who are looking after this activity, they must take care of it. This is in my opinion, what I could say.
Absolutely, sir. I think it's pretty complex topic because there can be penalties and legal actions, right? If companies are not complying with the rules and regulations, like you said. And especially if as a remote work expert, I'm just thinking out loud. If, let's say I'm running a remote company, and if I have employees from different countries, then things can get really complicated. As in, okay, uh, should I follow the laws, the rules and regulations of the country in which my head office is located? But how about, my international employees who belong to different countries, right? So how do you think, what are the challenges? And in that, it's not very straightforward. So because under compliance, there are so many things, right, that come into picture. And, payroll is one of the very, complex topics, especially in the context of remote work, where you have, employees from different countries. So let's say you have a couple of employees who are working under the same designation, let's say a program manager, but one person is from Argentina and the other person is from US. Then how does, this compliance equation work? How can a CEO of remote companies simplify their payroll processes according to you?
See, basically, yes, this is a really good question. What I can call it as. Um, in such cases, we call them as multinational companies. It is generally called as, in short form, is MNCs. And MNCs, they work on to not only pan-India basis, they work across the globe. If you have got employees across the globe, different things come into picture. Particularly when you talk about payroll processing, it has to be checked up who is handling this, whether the office which is handling from India.
Sir, we are losing your voice. Your voice becomes slow sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, are you getting it now?
It is still a little low, sir. No, it's okay. Yeah, we'll help you out. Okay, so I would like to go back to Prashant sir and understand his perspective, on this particular challenge.
So basically, when we have this kind of opportunity to work with multiple locations, and when it comes to a salary or compliance part for the multiple locations or multiple nations or the multiple divisions, someone really needs to understand that for any organization that helps with your HR budgeting. So, and irrespective
Yes,
of
ma'am.
the nation, irrespective of the other financial aspects, for every employee, company defines a term called cost to company. If you are defining a cost to company for each and every individual or the position working within the organization, the split of this cost to company can be tailored or can be made flexible according to the individual's choice. This could be possible in now's era because the systems and the automations are come in place. So someone can really make very user friendly or tax friendly uh, bifurcations of the salary, and also it will help that based on the technicalities, skill sets, and the competencies of the individual, you can compare and design the CTC structure. And if you do that kind of alignments, then yes, it should not be much challenge to any individual working into the HR to cater this kind of activities.
Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for sharing your perspective on this. Because you are, from HR background, right? So in the remote work, right, it happens that one person, uh, two people, let's say, let me continue the same example, who are working under the same designation, but they are from different countries. Their pay scale can vary because of the location difference. Okay. And I think this is a very classic example, not only in case of remote work, but even in case of corporate world. So, because I am coming from a software background, so I remember, when I joined the company and I had got a very handsome package. Somehow, my colleague got to know about it and he got upset because, he was working there for a long time. But he was upset because his package was lower, even though our designation was same. So, HR issues like this, what's the best way to handle such issues, Prashant sir?
Ideally, it all depends on your skill set, your competencies, and your potential to grow within the organization. Any cost to company for an individual is not been designed in a standard way. Every position has its own critical uh, criticality of that position within the organization, and that determines the cost of your skill set within the organization. So usually it happens that people say that I am working in this organization for 10 years and someone who is newly joined are getting much more paid. So most of the times it happens that the people working on a longer period get saturated with the same kind of activities. They don't enhance their skills, they don't upskill their knowledge, and that's why their contribution comparatively looks, less important than the upcoming guys who are guys coming up with the new ideas and technology or new as a new blood into the organization. So the HR should be aware about the entire details about the skill set, competencies, and the potential activities, and it will help them to, get convinced to other team members in that respect.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your viewpoint on this. While this is very true, let me ask you this same question, from manager's perspective, let's say, there are two people working under a manager, and one of the employees is, working there for a long time, maybe 10 plus years, and then somebody new joins in, and that guy is getting a higher package, with which the existing, or, the older, employees getting upset about it. So what would you advise, how should manager communicate this effectively, so that, people also don't leave by being upset? So how can they tactfully, communicate such things to the immediate reportees?
Usually, if a person acting as a manager, he is much aware about the skill sets and the task assigned to every individual. And he is also aware about the accountability and the ownership taken by each and every individual. So he can create a matrix and very well, explain the KRA KPIs based on the position map and how their contribution are linked to the top lines of the business. If he could able to understand and explain that to the both the members, it would be more win-win to him. So the person who's got disappointed, it definitely a manager will give them opportunity to take the more accountabilities, more ownership, do the out of box thinking, and if he really does that, then yes, he may also promote and give a good perks and packages to the other candidate as well. So it's all depends on how much accountability you are taking within the organization. That really matters.
Absolutely. So, like you said, it's all about how you are impacting the bottom line and the KPIs of the organization. And I think, yeah, it's like you said, it's a great way to convert it into a win-win situation, by sharing the KPIs, and at the same time encouraging, the employees to take more responsibility and, to get better when it comes to their KRs and KPIs. Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for sharing your perspective. Let me go back to Hemant sir. Hello, Hemant sir.
Yeah, hi. Are you able to hear now?
Yeah. Now it's much better. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Yeah.
So, Hemant sir, I would like to ask you, what are the top payroll-related compliance challenges you see the organizations are facing right now, and how can businesses address them effectively?
Yes. See, as far as payroll compliance is concerned, there are a couple of laws comes into picture. Let's say we talk about Provident Fund Act, ESIC Act, Gratuity Act, Bonus Act, etc., etc. And I have seen many, especially MSMEs, not doing this particular activity in a proper way. So they are not aware, either they are not aware of these things, or they are not having the proper skill sets within the organizations who can handle it. In that case, they should at least hire somebody like us as an advisor, and they should get the things done through us. That is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, like they can hire a competent person internally, and they can continue doing this through him as well. These are the two general ways. Now, as far as laws are concerned, even if they hire somebody, the laws are likely to get changed, not frequently, but definitely within the period of time. Because there are continuous reforms are been taking place by the government of India, within the state government as well. So one has to keep an eye on to it. His upgradation of knowledge, and based on the current scenario, he has to implement this particular thing within the organization. If it is done correctly or within the time frame given by the government, yes, then there is no issue. But if it is not done, then there is definitely an issue, because government is a master player. Government is a master player, so we have to obey it.
Oh, sir, actually, we are losing you in between. Okay, your voice is not very clear. Okay, so let me go back to Prashant sir and let me ask him the same question.
Yeah, just to continue with Hemant sir, what
Yeah.
he was suggesting us,
Yes.
to overcome with such kind of challenges for an HR working into any maybe an SME or MSME or any larger organization, there are certain guidelines given by the state government and central government. Okay, so I really had a question for all the people out here. How many of the entire HR fraternity people or the people really working on the payroll, they really understand? In Maharashtra specifically, we have almost 67 different industrial classifications. So, in under which classification your company or your establishment stands? There are certain zones defined by the uh, government authorities, under which zone it has been allocated, and again the skill set of the employees. So these are the certain basic parameters to understand, which gives them guidelines to pay a kind of minimum wage or the minimum compliance criteria for an any organization. So if the payroll person or the any payroll executive or any uh, executive who is handling this all commercial aspects, if he really understands that, it will be more easy for him to be complied with. Again, if we say in a pan-India perspective, we have certain deductions which is based on the state government rules, like the labor contribution funds, labor welfare funds, maybe the house rent allowances, or maybe a professional tax. So it varies from state to state. So this kind of knowledge a person should have to have the correct understanding of all the calculations and all the complexities within the payroll itself. And yes, of course, one should have the complete income tax knowledge for the salaried person, which will help them to decide different allowances within the salary structure, which will give a very tax-friendly calculations and save much tax uh, for the employees. It will be more win-win to the employer as well and for the employer as well. And as far as the compliance support is concerned, yes, one should go with an application which will help them to get automated, and it will trigger them on the compliance dates or the data. Or someone really should be aware about how to do their payroll audited. A person can process a payroll, but how many people are really aware about how to do an audit of the payroll, how to do a reverse calculation of the compliance values towards the final payroll values? So these are certain tricks and techniques, practices, which will help an individual to be a complied payroll executive or the campaign master in that.
Uh, I think Neha has raised her hand. Hey, Neha, do you have any question?
Hello.
Hi, Neha. Yeah, please go on. Please ask your question, Neha.
So I had one question to the panel is, I work as a talent acquisition executive. Okay. So I usually come across the recruitment of the new candidates. Sometimes whenever I'm interacting with the candidates are they want their customized salary structure. Like if we have a certain structure defined in our organization, okay, like a percentage, this could be your fixed and this could be your variable component, and they want a different salary structure or customized one that they particularly for example they want 75 fixed and 35 variable component of a salary. Okay, but if we are proposing it to management, management will usually will be like we have to maintain the parity because of the finance structure. So how is it related to uh, in terms of finance team? How is it related to that? I want to understand.
Okay. I would like to answer this question into two parts. First, as previously I told you, if you have clarity about cost to company, about the resources within your organization, then finance should not worry about the structure. Okay. So end of the day, your team is aware that how much we are spending on that employee. So the split of the salary and the percentage of the salary components, it doesn't really matters a lot. You know, most of the IT companies give a flexibility to decide the uh, salary structure in employees' own way. Even central government also had given two options to the uh, every salaried individuals or the individuals, that there are old tax regime and new tax regime. So if you have investments, then yes, you can have a different salary structure. If you don't have investment, you hardly require a salary structure, because everything what you're getting, it's an taxable amount. Now coming to the fixed and variable part, fixed and variable part will be depending on the gradation and the salary structure you have based on your grades. If you have really designed in that way, then yes, you can go with a fixed gradation or a fixed variable pay or that kind of structure. And even defining the variable pay, as an HR, you need to ensure that the maximum variable pay will be go to the employee. So you can split that variable pay based on the individual performance, based on the departmental performance, based on the location performance, or based on the overall company performance. So if you could able to split that in different perspective under different KRA KPI, then it will be more win-win to one individual. So here HR plays a very crucial role to make that understanding and awareness creating about the variable pay. Variable pay is not a tool for any organization to save the money. Okay. So variable pay is tool to that has to be linked with the accountability and the task completion and the productivity related activities. So there is nothing wrong to keep a variable pay or change the structure or the percentage, but that has to be linked with the gradation structure overall you have within the organization itself.
Thank you very much, panel. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, if anybody else wants to ask a question, please raise your hand and you have a golden chance to interact with HR experts today. Thank you, Prashant sir, for answering that. I would like to go back to Hemant sir, and I would like to understand, what are the I think Prashant sir has given us a very good strategic perspective
Yes,
of,
yes.
HR. So, Hemant sir, what do you think? What are the tactical challenges when it comes to the payroll processing?
See, practical challenges are there are many practical challenges. Getting a data on time, getting a data from HR to accounts, finance department, from finance department to the compliance section. So there is a gap also been observed many times. And this gap creates a problem in long run, especially as far as compliance is concerned, because there are compliance dates are given. And if these gaps
Oh,
are
unfortunately, we are not able to hear you, Hemant sir. Yeah, no problem. Okay, I'll help.
Basically, there are what Hemant sir would like to convey, that there are
Yeah.
multiple inputs which is required to run a payroll. It's not only the attendance is the only part.
Mhm.
Again, catering the attendance, it has its own challenges. Okay. There are few organizations who is having a single location. There are few organizations having a multi locations. There are few organizations having a fixed staff working in the office. There are some field staff. There are some, the retainers, consultants who are working from the remote locations. So these are the challenges wherein the data needs to be catered in a given frame time. So this is one of the challenge. Another challenge, apart from your salary, as the Neha has correctly asked the question that how about the variable pay? Then the variable pay related data needs to be catered from the respective operation in charge, production in charge, sales head, engineering head, and then this needs to be incorporated into the payroll. So ideally, payroll works with the two ways. One is your standard gross, and one when this is variable gross. So variable gross may change according to the organization to organization. It may come up with an attendance bonus. It may come with a performance bonus. It may come up with a variable pays. It may come up with the ad hoc amounts. It may be come up with a KTR, key talent retention allowances. There are multiple ways the people used to get amount in a form of salary. So it needs to be catered all this information in a real time. Usually the people takes 8 or 10 days to cater this information. If the organization has a system in process, they might collect the data 3 to 5 days. So that data needs to be collected. Apart from, there are certain deductions. There are some statutory deductions. There are some mandatory deductions. If someone is giving the transportation facility, canteen facility, the uniform, shoes, the insurances, these kind of deductions are about to be happened, or there are certain salary advances, loan advances. So these deductions also need to be considered while calculating the payroll. So one person, the payroll executive need to gather all this information in the real time. And if he could able to do that, he could able to payroll run the payroll successfully. Most of the times it happens that people forget to punch in, people forget to mark their leaves, people forget to mark their outdoor duties. You know? So if everyone decides to do their own timekeeping upfrontly, then the payroll executives may not have much challenges doing all the time. And again, I'll come to on this, like most of the organizations, they do have system in place, but there are few still organizations, they are running their entire payroll into the standard Excel sheets. They have to put in that data into the Excel. And one of the challenges with working on Excel, that they do not verify the formulas, whatever they are incorporated into the Excel sheet, because most of the times Excel sheet gives the different outputs, or there are some column insertions, row insertions, formulas are getting disturbed. So someone need to be understand to have the in-depth knowledge about the Excel, and they should re-audit before doing the payroll processing about the Excel formulas what they have mentioned into the system. So these are the multiple challenges someone can face while running the payroll.
Thank you, Prashant sir. I think you covered pretty much all the aspects of it, payroll and even the accountability part, right? Because it's not only up to the payroll executives, but this also a responsibility of employees to keep track of their leaves, their time off, and so on. What would you like to suggest? So let me go back to Hemant sir. So Hemant sir, what do you think? What's the best way to be on top of the payroll challenges? How can
What is
companies handle
what do
them?
you expect? Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, Hemant sir. Now your voice is much better.
What do you mean by top up? What do you mean by? Can you explain me
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so Hemant sir, we just briefly discussed about the challenges that companies are facing when it comes to processing the payroll.
Yeah.
So I would like to understand from your side, what can be done by the companies in order to overcome these challenges and to make the process more simple and effective.
Yes, you have to set the standards, like especially payroll processing, though it is a time-consuming task, and especially for the multinational companies where the number of employees are high. But you can adopt the techniques which are going to make it very easy. Either you can go for a proper software where you can use this particular things very effectively and on time bound basis. This is number one. Number two, you have to have skill sets to handle it properly. Also, you can have a observing authority like an outsider. So three way, if you put it into together, then it can be a very effective one. So you can do it before the timeline which has been given to the HR or to the accounts or to the finance person, whosoever it is, whosoever is handling it.
Thank you, Hemant sir, for sharing your perspective. Let me go back to Prashant sir and ask him. So, what do you think, Prashant sir, can organizations do to make the payroll processing more effective?
As Hemant sir has correctly said, there must be a tool. But there are certain organizations in specifically into the SME and MSME space that they can't afford to go the well-designed applications or well-designed softwares. The competencies are not there. The dedicated peoples are not there to run the business. You know, so for such kind of people, Excel is one of the powerful tool. If someone really knows how to play with an Excel, they can resolve this query very smartly. I really would like to. I'm happy, that we can give this input within this forum itself. That we are coming up with a 2 days completely residential program, specifically on the payroll processing, which will help them from understanding the organization category out of the 67 categories, defining the salary structure, creating the CTC formats. Uh, creating automated attendance sheet which will help them to cater all this information throughout the year, because again every HR needs to maintain the appropriate leave balances. How many of the Excel uh, players, like the people who work on a people who do payroll on the Excel, they knows that if you rename your worksheet by the month, and automatically your uh, monthly calendar will change. There are very smart tricks. You change the month, you change the year, and your weekly offs can be highlighted. Your working days, your leaves, your paid offs are being automatically get calculated. So these are certain tricks which we are probably covering in those kind of sessions. We'll also covering to write the formulas related to the Pride Fund, related to the professional tax, related to the ESIC, because it varies. It has a multi-dimensional parameters like in a professional tax. It has a two parameters, like every state wise gets differ. Again, it differs from the male female. Again, it differs from the your salary range. So someone can learn from this session to design a single formula with a three-dimensional aspects, working on that. Even the templates which are required to do a compliance upload on the government sites, that also can be easily done with a single click from the Excel itself. And after doing all these things, one of the biggest challenge for the people working on the Excel, they face that they cannot able to create a pay slips in appropriate way. So this entire uh, training session will also give them a training that you just select an employee number and your pay slips are been visible, started visibling all that. So these kind of various tricks and formats will be covered on this session. Even apart from that, we are thoroughly taking all the payroll related acts and the key highlights of those acts which are really impacting to the payroll within this forum. So this is possible. So any person who does not, any organization who does not have a preparedness for the tools implementation, they can still continue doing the payroll within Excel, but that's need a little bit expertise, little bit training, little bit governance, little bit auditing tricks, and it can be easily done. So by just putting the attendance on regular basis, they can do the attendance mapping. They can do a complete year's leave mapping. So in a single work Excel file, they can have the complete calendar month's payroll done. The leave balances can be done. The levy encashment can be done. The income tax calculations also can be done. The compliance templates required for the PF, ESI, professional tax, labor welfare fund, that also been get calculated on the single worksheet. So this is very much possible. It needs some determination, it needs a proper training, and this entire things will be covered into the session. this is, we are planning to have this residential one because we don't want to people get interrupted. It's a highly extensive session from morning 9 till evening 9, and again next day it will start from the morning 9 till evening 7. This what we are also thinking, doing this session as a part of additional bonus to the early joiners. So who the first 20 joiners will get almost more than 60 policy drafts with a legally vetted by legal experts into the HR domain. That also we are offering to them. We are also offering a one-on-one counseling session. So for first 20 registries will get personal counseling session for at least 4 hours on their premises with their payroll. So this is also we are giving as an additional bonus thing to the first 20 people who will get registered. This session we are planning into the month of December, maybe second or third week of December, and we would like to invite all these people into that session.
Wow, I think this sounds very interesting to me. Especially like you said, right? The errors that happens, with the formulas and all, and how the Excel templates can help out with those errors. So, Prashant sir, I would like to understand, do you see any generative AI tools which can be helpful when it comes to the payroll processing?
Yeah, within this session, we are also giving some tricks through the AI,
Mm-hmm.
some tricks through the BI. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And we are also helping them to create certain dashboards which might be interested for their management to see about the costing perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we do a salary calculation,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this is the account team basically, book those all expenses under different cost centers,
Mm-hmm.
the departments and cost centers. So eventually we will also trying and helping all the participants to create a dashboard which will help them to give these kind of analysis to the management and the financial team as well for the further analytics.
Wow, that's great. So, how can the audience get more information about this training, Prashant sir?
Those who are been registered for this session, we are
Uh-huh.
already, I believe we have all their contact details, their email IDs and their phone numbers. We'll
Mm-hmm.
be publishing in the entire curriculum to them,
Uh-huh.
and the registration dates as well will be shortly publishing, and they can join on that. And early 20 registries will
Mm-hmm.
get an awesome benefits. There are only two I announced, but we have more than that.
Mm-hmm.
We have an international Excel trainer is participating in this entire 2 days session. We
Mm-hmm.
also have one of the leadership expert who is also she's also joining in this session. So it's a lot of things are happening. We are gonna observe people's behavior within those sessions. We are gonna give them the inputs about being a team member, being a leader, being as an initiator, being a problem solver. So it's not about just only about the payroll. We would like to create an individual who can be competent enough to handle the challenges not only with the payroll but with the day-to-day transactional and the strategic HR related role as
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for sharing the information. So, yeah, I would, whoever is interested, I would urge the audience to reach out to Prashant sir on LinkedIn. And I think whoever is registered for the Zoom session, we have created a WhatsApp group. So we can forward more information about the training over there. Okay. So moving on into our panel discussion today, I would like to go back to Hemant sir, and I would like to ask him about moonlighting. So, with the advent of remote and flexible working, uh, there are some of the cases wherein an employee already has a full-time job, and because they are working remote, they utilize some of their time, to take up another remote job, and that can have some impact, right? Some conflict of interest when it comes to their output and their performance in their first job, right? How do you think, what's the best way to handle this, Hemant sir, in the context of compliance?
See, as far as multiple locations working is concerned, I hope you are getting my voice clearly.
Yes.
Okay. As far as multiple locations are concerned, as far as the current scenario of moonlighting, etc., is concerned, see, law is very clear as far as guidance about the employment related laws, what we call it as, whether we talk about Contract Act or any other act. So if it is designed properly, that is one thing, the drafting is done properly, the implementation is done properly, then these problems will be eliminated to a maximum level. There could be a possible, there are chances there where certain uh, certain situations may arise out of which we have to deal it carefully, and there where the HR comes into picture. So he has to understand this in a thorough way and implement it based on the laws of the nation. So what happens in such a case, if he is thorough enough, so these challenges are not going to hamper the organization's growth, neither it is going to hamper the employees' welfare. So he has to be very balanced, having a balanced approach doing so. So as far as compliance is concerned, the law is very clear. You have to pay the salary, you have to pay the salary based on your monthly input to the organizations. And there are laws are being framed in last 70 years, which are amended on time to time basis. But even if they are amended, the concepts are very clear. As far as definitions are there, as far as concept is there, as far as implementation is there, everything is very clear. The HR has to understand it thoroughly and implement it. It is going to be very helpful for the organization if he is a thorough person. If he is not thorough person, he has to improve himself. He has to upgrade his knowledge and bring it to the platter or the table. Rather, he has to bring it to the table where organizations can implement it very correctly, and it could be useful for the organization.
Thank you, Hemant sir, for sharing your view on this. So, okay, let me put it other way around, right? See, traditionally, when you look at the in-office model, especially, if I compare the pre-pandemic world with the post-pandemic world, right? So, pre-pandemic, people, they had this, mentality that, okay, I have to, go to office and, uh, do my one job dedicatedly, right? But what happened is, right, during pandemic, this has triggered a lot of self reflection in everyone's mind, and people started asking themselves very thoughtful questions, such as what is my life about, what is my life purpose, and why do I feel satisfied and fulfilled in my current job? Or do I feel something is lacking? And how can I fulfill that, void? So that's where, I see many people, they started their side hustle. Even I did the same. I remember I was working with Barclays as a VP of product technology. And during pandemic, I had this thought that, okay, this my job is not really making me fulfilled. There's something else, that I should be doing, which aligns with my life purpose, right? And I think more and more, people, they want to do a side hustle in addition to their job, wherein, they want to experiment and do something that fulfills them, wherein, job is still their one source of income, and the side hustle is something, which gives them a satisfaction. Okay. So if we have to allow this to happen, right, without any conflict of interest, without impacting their full-time job, then do you think the organization should come up with a flexible version of compliance frameworks, or do you think they should just continue with the current laws, which seem pretty rigid to me? Yeah. So. What do you think, Hemant sir?
See, there are changes are going to take place as far as laws are concerned. There have already been a lot of discussion are going on in the at the government level. Like especially in the year 2020, there are four codes have been brought into picture and which will be implemented soon. Probably I am expecting this year those codes will be implemented, and the definitions of the licensing are already moved out. Now it's no longer a definition of Inspector Raj. That it's now they will be called as facilitators. So you see there is a marginal change over here. So as far as old scenario is concerned, it is going to get changed. So government wants people to enhance their knowledge, use their most potential for their own growth and the nation's growth. So naturally, what is going to happen around more than 29 laws are going to get bundled into four codes, like GST. So GST, before GST, there were service tax was there, octroi was there, then excise was there, custom duty was there. So these were all different laws, and person has to maintain different records for each law. So what is going to happen now, especially it has already happened in one way as far as Factory Act is concerned, because Factory Act, there is a one single return is there, where many pointers which are important from the government's point of view have been included into one single return. Similar things are going to come into picture after few months. Already the Labour Minister, Honorable Labour Minister, Mr. Mansukh Mandviya has declared it in his press conference that within 3 months they are going to come up with a new model. And let us see what this model is going to have an impact. But especially like consultants like us, myself and Prashant, and those people who are into this field, they are quite aware this is happening. But it is going to take place little bit after some time, let's say after 2 months or so. Once this model is rolled out, probably these questions will be eliminated and people have to concentrate more on their work than getting into all these hassles. What I feel so.
Right. What Hemant sir has said, correctly, but it also has the multiple dimensions. Not only with an employee side, doing multiple assignments at a time. There are certain companies also hiring the resources for the limited period. Okay. The complete employment scenario is about changing nowadays. Again, it also depends on the organization to organization. If you have a manufacturing unit, then yes, definitely your people should be in place. They should be, gathered together at the manufacturing facility and they can work. The companies like IT companies, they are allowing people to work from end of the day. They are expecting that people's job needs to be completed and it's need to be done. Okay. I've been witnessed most of the IT companies nowadays hiring the high technical resource with a package of 50 lakhs a year or 80 lakhs a year on fixed term basis, like the employment for 3 months, the employment for 6 months, the employment for only year. So it's a contracting job, or we call it an FTC, fixed term contracts terminology started coming up into the IT sector as well. If you think and a person should be dedicated to a single company, then it will become a big problem for him in that case. So likewise, it has a both way, that the organizations also looking for a short-term employment, and they are only focusing on the jobs are getting done in appropriate time, in appropriate way. And from the employee side also, they are looking for the what we call that as a contingency options about their life employability kind of activities. So it has a both perspective. So one should be very thinkable as an HR. He should be very uh, having a strategic vision, tackling with this kind of employees. So HR should be aware about the company's vision, mission statement, and he should be aware the task and activities given to an individual, whether they are completely monitoring, completely addressing, jobs are getting done or not. If he will focus more on that, then it will create more win-win situation. It also important for a visionary HR to focus on the effective communications, the purpose of the job, the process of the job, the implications of the issues. So this has to be clearly communicated to the individuals. Again, decision-making abilities of every individual and the assignments has to be done accordingly. 80% of the organizations, while they are drafting the job descriptions, they only write कि वो position पे क्या क्या करना है. But now it is a time coming up to draft a JD stating that what activities are not supposed to be complete or do by that individuals also. That also need to be mentioned into the job descriptions. Also, you need to clearly mention about the accountability, about the responsibility, about the KRAs and the KPIs of the individuals. So this needs to be properly communicated to each and every individual to avoid this kind of, the multiple job kind of situations. So if an HR or the entire organization can create inclusive environment, then definitely yes, there are chances that we can reduce this kind of incidences, opportunities. Now, again, the collaborative mindset. If an HR can build a collaborative mindset within the organization or within the team itself, then they should not be much worried about who is doing what. They'll be morely focused on if the jobs are getting done in time with the required quality aspects, and if the things are happening, they should not be worried on that. So this is a need of R right now. So an HR needs to play a very vital role in solving problem solving, defining the problem solving skills, and creating a cultural sensitivity within the team. Then I think it's possible to reduce the complete burnout, and they can focus on more productive ways of getting job done from the team.
Amazing. Thank you, Prashant sir. I think you touched upon a very important point of cultural sensitivity, emotional intelligence, and even effective communication. So absolutely, I think it's very significant in the context of leadership. I'm looking at the LinkedIn comments and questions. So Anup Pradhan is asking how to calculate performance linked payroll.
Okay. So, if someone has to really create a part of variable pay to an individual, they need to define a criteria first. They need to identify the KRA or the KPIs. Any variable pay should be calculated in a proper arithmetic way. So, any organization should have a system in place to get that data retrieved or data collected from a specific defined way or a system. Okay, and if they are doing it in a proper interval, maybe on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, they have to maintain that momentum as well. Now, while defining the KRA KPI, as I earlier said, it needs to be designed in such a way that the individual contributions will get addressed. The departmental goals, activities, tasks should get achieved. The location or BU heads profitability also need to be maintained. It should contribute to the top line. So these aspects, if they collect in an appropriate way, they can calculate the salary accordingly, and they can get the arithmetical value of the variable pay, and they can incorporate that part as a variable pay within the payroll itself.
Thank you, Prashant sir. So I think we are already 15 minutes uh, over our scheduled time. So I'm just reading out the comments on LinkedIn. But before I do that, does anybody has any questions for Prashant sir? Aniket, Suyog, Atish, Neha, Manasi. Uh, If you have any questions, please raise your hand and you have a chance to ask our experts.
Hello.
Yes, yes, please, Aniket, go ahead.
So my name is Aniket. I'm a director and co-founder at 𝐶𝐞𝐦𝐚𝐧𝐭 Engineering Services. We work as a MEP consultant. Uh, so it's a startup firm having less than 10 employees. So I just wanted to see, we do face some problems of having attendance and then analyzing those things, also related to payroll, because we are not yet started giving PF because not yet qualified for the PF related services. So being as a new into the business and the business entrepreneur, what are the basic suggestions a panel can give us people like us?
Yeah. Aniket, you being as in a startup or any startup organizations needs to follow certain steps while doing resource planning. So the first activity you need to do that you need to do a workforce planning. So number of projects you have, number of assignments you have, number of working hours you need to complete those kind of prospective activities. That needs to be aligned. The skill set you are having with your existing team, those should be mapped with the existing required project completion activities and the optimization of the resources. This needs to be planned on the first level. Second level, you need to see that your employees will be engaged with the activities rather than they are busy with the activities. Being busy and being engaged, there are two different terminologies within the organizational perspective. So if the employee really understand what he's supposed to do, what he's not supposed to do, what he's accountable for, what he's responsible for, how his performance is getting measured, then he will feel engaged within the team itself. और एल्स वो तो बोलेगा यार मैंने कुछ काम किया नहीं किया, वो सब सर को पता नहीं होता और वो खाली पीली चिल्लाते रहते हैं. These situations happens in multiple times with the small organizations. So to avoid this kind of things, you can also focus on creating the DPRs. We call it as a daily progress report. So every individual can design their next day activities. They can communicate that activities in advance on your small group of maybe WhatsApp or any communication tool you are defining. They can also define the dependencies of their work on the others, so that others will be aware, अरे मैंने ये काम नहीं किया तो सामने वाला कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा. So this will help you to keep your people engaged. Again, about the learning and development, you need to keep these skills assessing on every quarterly basis. What trainings people require to complete their job on time, to complete their job with a given quality parameters. So you need to keep assessing your team on a quarterly basis. And yes, you need to collaborate and keep continuous communication with the team members. Okay. End of the day, the collaboration plays a major role because you need to appreciate for their small achievements. You need to handhold them during their difficult times. You being as an entrepreneur or the small startup owner, you need to control the distraction of the activities rather than controlling the people and their behavior. If we follow these certain points, then definitely yes, we can build a very successful team, irrespective of whether that is a 2 number, 5 number, or 10 numbers as well. So this is how you can overcome with your problems.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
I think you made a very good point, Prashant sir. Instead of controlling people, controlling the distractions. I think, yeah, that's the key message. Okay, so we can take up any other questions that participants may have. I'm just reading out some comments from LinkedIn. So we have, Alexander Gomes. He's saying Prashant sir is a master in HR, has experienced firsthand his amazing work. Thank you, Alexander.
Thank you, Alex sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. He says, how come everyone knows about everyone's salary? HR used to make it clear about confidentiality of salary. It happens in India. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, wonderful. So we have Lal Singh. So he said, yeah, the session is great. I can see lots of positive comments on LinkedIn. So before we come to the closing of the session, I would like to give a chance to our participants to share about their experience. How did they find the session? So Aniket, Atish, Manasi, Neha, Suyog, how did you enjoy today's session? Okay, yeah.
I believe Kalam sir is, one of from our fraternity. Kalam sir, are you there?
बोलिए सर, सुनाई दे रहा.
हाँ, so what is your experience? आपको कैसा लगा ये सारा
Yeah.
inputs? Because you are working as an HAVAC solution provider into the Pune region and associated with LG, right?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर.
Right, sir. So
इस
आपकी क्या
अपना
value?
तो चल ही रहा सर, जो है अपना बात चल रहा है ऑलरेडी. खाली एम्प्लॉई का थोड़ा शॉर्टेज है,
Okay,
तो काफी एग्रेसिव है जो सर. अपने को भी लाना है सिस्टम पे सब चीज.
right.
थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा, बाकी कुछ नहीं सर.
Definitely. Atish is one of the person who is working with me on one of my clients' location. Atish, are you there on the call?
Hello, Atik. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Yeah, Raghu. Okay.
Listening, sir.
Yeah. What is your experience, Atish, with this session? Atish, you can choose your language. It's fair enough. Like you can speak in Marathi, Hindi. It's fair enough.
Absolutely fine, Atik. Yeah.
थँक यू सर. मी मराठीमध्ये बोलायला आवडेल मला. ऍक्च्युली HR मध्ये आता एक 6-7 वर्ष झाले सर कंटिन्यू वर्किंग करतोय. म्हणजे आता जे तुम्ही सांगितलं ना, ते एवढं खूप छान होतं, माझ्यासाठी खूप नवीन होतं आणि मला यामधील बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी माहिती नव्हत्या, ज्या मी स्वतः आज खूप बिल्डिंग केल्या. आणि मी थँक्यू म्हणेल प्रशांत सरांना किंवा देशपांडे सरांना, की एवढी खूप जी माहिती दिली ती माझ्यासाठी खूप नवीन होती. खूप सगळ्या गोष्टी नवीन होत्या आणि खूप छान वाटलं सगळं सेशन ऐकून.
Nice. Thank you so much, Atish.
या
For
थँक्यू.
Yeah. Okay. So here comes, we are moving towards the end of the session. So thank you so much, Prashant sir and Hemant sir, for coming on this platform and sharing your decades of wisdom with
Yeah.
our audience.
Sorry for interrupting you, Pranaya, this time. I would really like to reiterate again. We are coming up with a 2 days residential session. It will give you comprehensive knowledge about the payroll and the compliances. Please do register and be part of this session, and it will be amazing learning experience for you. And also you will get an opportunity to be in one-to-one with us, and we will do that complete handholding of the education itself. Yes, Pranay, over to you. You can close.
Yeah, absolutely. I would urge everyone to grab this golden opportunity, to earn so many goodies and plus, get this personalized one-on-one advice from our HR expert, Prashant sir and Hemant sir. So, thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your valuable insights today with all of the audience. I'm so grateful to you, for spending your time and expertise for this session. Thank you so much, Kalam sir, Aniket, Suyog, Atish, Neha, and Mansi, for making the session so interactive and interesting. Thanks to those who are joining us from LinkedIn as well. So, keep sharing about, what are the topics that you would be interested in, and, how can we help you elevate your leadership skills. Thanks, everybody. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks,
have a
everybody.
nice evening.
Thank you, Hemant, for being part of this session.
Bye.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Prashant sir. Thank you,
Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thanks.